What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope you guys have all had a great Wednesday. Hope you guys are ready for tonight's stream. We are hopping into a 2023 NFL mock draft. We are less than 24 hours away from the actual 2023 NFL mock draft. So I know we are fantasy football channel and everything. We will be going through all kinds of fantasy evaluations throughout tonight's mock draft in terms of landing spots, but I figured this would be a fun way to kind of kick off things before tomorrow night's draft. So it's going to be a pretty interactive stream. I'm excited to have you guys help me go through round one of the draft before tomorrow night. So make sure you guys hit that like button on the way in. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you guys are new to the channel. But most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football questions, conversations you guys want to bring up, redraft, dynasty, best ball, anything you want, any NFL topics. But most importantly, let's put together a round one mock. Make sure you guys are putting your thoughts and comments in the live chat. Try and make this as interactive as possible. So super excited to be here with you guys tonight. Bear with me because I've never done this before, and I think we'll be just fine, but it could be a little bit interesting at points, but I think it's pretty straightforward. So appreciate you guys coming out tonight, and let's do this thing, man. I'm super excited. So good to see a lot of you guys already in the chat. We got Talks in the building, Michael, Prey, Taylor, Mr. Sarcastic, Coast to Coast, Cats, Emil, Thomas. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys being here tonight. So we're not going to waste any time. Let's hop right into it. I'm excited. So, all right, we have got the Panthers on the clock at the 1.1, obviously. So I don't think this is really going to spark much conversation for you guys. I think we're all in agreement. We're going Bryce Young here at the 1.1, right? So I think some of the more interesting conversations will definitely be the next couple picks. But if there's anyone out there, I'll give you guys like 1 minute. Give me your argument for another player going at the 1.1. I mean, every report out there, all signs are pointing to the Carolina Panthers going with Bryce Young, hopefully their next franchise quarterback. And I really do, I think that Bryce Young can do this, right? Yeah, the dude's short, I get it, but I think that Bryce Young, flat out, the best playmaker at the quarterback position in this draft, great passer overall, and on top of that, a smart football player at position. I think that's what has really separated him from guys like C.J. Stroud, Richardson, Levis is the kind of the football brain that Bryce Young has, so to speak. So, listen, there's some questions in terms of arm strength at the end of the day, but I think he'll be okay. I do. I think if we're looking at this class of rookies, this class of quarterbacks, Young deserves to go number one off the board. So, yeah, I think that's what we're rolling with here. So we'll get the easy one out of the way. Bryce Young goes to the Panthers. So this is where I want you guys to get, yeah, you know what? Let's just, let's run some polls tonight, as J-Dubs is alluding to. So, I mean, I guess we already did that with the 1.1. So, everyone said Bryce Young anyways. So, all right, let's make this interesting at the 1.2. Okay. Kind of have some conversations. I'm not going to, drag out the question. I'm just going to put the position. So, I'll just put 1.2 as the poll. So, all right. Here's the big question, though, for you guys. Here's the big question. I'll make that part of the poll. Do the Texans trade out of this spot? Do they go, let's say, Will Anderson? Do they go, man, I feel like I feel like we still have to put Stroud right here. I'm going to put Tyree Wilson. And then oh, I forgot to put Stroud. Okay, I'll just count Stroud in the chat. But go ahead and hit the poll real quick. So, yeah, like I said, there is a somewhat of a likelihood that the Texans trade out of this spot, but from all the buzz I'm reading, there's a lot out there that teams aren't interested in trading up to the number 2 spot. Like, there's no player that they think is worth the draft capital, right? Like, you think about what the 49ers had to give up to acquire Trey Lance, right? I mean, the Texans are probably asking a pretty penny for that number 2 spot. And while there were a couple weeks where we thought that was a very strong possibility, with C.J. Stroud probably being the player off the board if it was not Bryce Young, right? Obviously, we know Young's going to the Panthers, 99.9% sure. So, but when we had that Stroud versus Young debate going, like, the 1.2 was a pretty glorified pick. Now the buzz is that the Texans don't want to go quarterback there, and I think that we'll talk about this in a little bit, that teams are expecting Stroud to fall back a couple spots, potentially. So, if the Texans go quarterback, I still think it's Stroud. But I think that they're probably going to end up drafting who they think is the best defensive player on the board. Will Anderson, Jalen Carter is probably still in the conversation. Tyree Wilson is probably out there as well. So, I just don't think a trade is going to happen. Let's see. 14% of you guys saying trade. 71% of you guys saying Anderson. 14% of you guys saying Tyree Wilson. So, we've got a couple of you guys in the chat. Well, let's see here. Because this didn't make it to the poll, so that could affect things. Let's see. How you doing, Senior Cinnabon? Hello. Mr. Sarcastic, what's up? Mr. Sarcastic says Stroud. Talk says Stroud. Cinnabon says Stroud. So that's just 3, you guys. 8 total votes. So I think we're going Will Anderson here. Let's go Anderson. And I really do think there's a strong likelihood that the Texans don't trade out of that spot and they don't go quarterback. And I will not be surprised if they take who they think is the best defensive player on the board right there, right? So Anderson, productive 3 years in a row with Alabama. 207 pressures over that span of his career, right? Explosive, tall, 6'4", 243 pounds, good weight. So I think he's as good of a prospect as you're going to get right there. So Tyree Wilson, you could argue a little bit more consistent. But I think Anderson's a safer pick with Wilson coming off of that injury and everything. So, all right, let's close the poll. This is fun. Okay. On to the next one. So, Cardinals. Okay, this is an interesting one. I want to get this poll out quickly because I think there's a strong likelihood they trade. But let's say Jalen Carter. I mean, we keep Tyree Wilson in the mix, right? Yeah, let's keep Wilson. And I don't know, they're just in such a weird place as an organization. Let's go with Peter S. Big old lineman. All right. This will be the interesting thing, though, because if we do decide on a trade, which I feel like you guys are going to decide on a trade, we have to decide who they're going to trade with. So who's going to potentially move up to the 3 spot, and whichever team moves up to the number 3 spot, are they going with Stroud? Or are they going to get like Jalen Carter potentially? I mean, I think Will Levis and C.J. Stroud are really the only two players who teams are going to move up in terms of draft capital for to the 1.3. So you got potentially the Falcons, potentially the Raiders, the Titans. I think the Titans really, I really think the Titans could be the team that trades up to get a quarterback. That's my vote. If we're gonna pick a team to trade, it's 100% of you guys saying trade. All right, so let's close the poll, and then let's pull it up. Okay. Cards trade with who? These polls are not going to be like, I'm not going to pay attention to spelling or like punctuation or anything like that. So let's say Titans, which is my pick, but I can't vote. Raiders. Let's throw the Falcons in there. And a couple of you guys saying Texans, so let's throw the Texans in there too. All right. You guys have like a minute to vote. Sorry, guys. It's going to be a hard stream for me to be consistently reading off every chat as well. Cameron saying Paris Johnson Jr. should be in the conversation. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think him and Peter Skorskowski, who I can't pronounce the last name, should both, you know, really, and Broderick Jones as well could be in that conversation, right? All right. 50%, 56% of you guys saying Texans. Titans at 40. Texans now to... Ooh, okay. I'm going to leave this for a minute. Cameron says, D'Amico's in love with Will Anderson Jr., and they must get a quarterback. I mean, I've seen this conversation out there a couple times. I mean, 11 votes. You guys are saying Texans. Okay, all right, we're going Texans. I'm only going to run these polls. There's one more vote that got in there. But we're going to go Texans here. So, let's see. They're going to trade... where are the Texans? Okay. Couldn't find them. What's a fair... It doesn't really matter. Let's say the Texans give up the 12. The Cardinals get... the Cardinals give up the 3. Texans also give up a late rounder. It really doesn't matter for... other than the first round. So let's do this. So the Texans are now at 3. Cardinals are at 12. All right, so the Texans are on the clock. Let's start a poll, baby. 1.3 Texans. All right, so this is going to be interesting. I'm only putting 2 names on the board. Stroud or Levis, who's going, boys and girls? If there's someone else who you really think should be there, throw it in the chat as well. The poll is up. Let's do it. Stroud is winning so far based off of 7 votes. Talks as Will Anderson and Tyree. What about Anthony Richardson? That's a good point. I probably should have put AR in there. I just didn't. That's a good point. I don't know why I skipped out on Richardson, but you guys can let me know if you want him in there as well. It's a good point, Cats. It's a good point. Cameron says Texans have no interest in Anthony Richardson. That's fair as well. Yeah, the buzz on Richardson has definitely gone down, Talks. All right, so when I see the poll change to 1 minute ago, that's when I'm closing it. So you guys have like 1 minute for each poll. Because I do have to kind of keep things on a timer, so to speak. But it's looking like, yep, Stroud wins the poll right here. So, the Texans have 2 top 3 picks. They get their potential franchise quarterback in C.J. Stroud and arguably the best defensive player in the draft off the board in Will Anderson. So next up, we got the Colts. So, 1.4. Let's say Levis, Anthony Richardson, I mean, you can make an argument for a lot of other players. So I'm going to put other / trade, and if you guys give me enough buzz, we'll go from there. But I think we want to basically just bring up the 2 quarterbacks here. Right? Let's see. Talk says Eileen Anthony Richardson for the Colts. Michael says Anthony Richardson. Godfather says Richardson. Taylor says trading for Trey Lance. I like that. $13 votes. Will Levis is in the lead. Shane says Levis. 8% of you guys saying other or a trade. J-Dub's definitely trading for Lance. I would actually be kind of excited to see that just because Steven is a Colts fan. Thomas says save Anthony for the Hawks. I'm not making the calls. It's in the people's hands. All right. Poll is closing. It's been up for a minute. Will Levis is going to the Colts. I mean, Levis does really feel like, I don't know, such a Colts selection. Do you guys agree? I feel like that pick makes sense. I like this start to the draft tonight. All right. So next up on the board, we have got the Seattle Seahawks. So let's put Jalen Carter, Anthony Richardson, man, I really feel like it's between those 2. Let's put Pete down. Could be an offensive lineman, and let's put Tyree Wilson. Yeah, sorry. I got Tyree in there, Cats. He's in there. But yeah, I think those are arguably the best players on the board. I might give this one a little bit extra time. I think this pick and the Lions at 6 could be really interesting. Really interesting. 10 votes so far. Carter at 70%. I mean, Carter's a good value here. If you didn't have the off-the-field stuff and the poor pro day and this and that, he'd be going at that number 2 spot. I think you could argue very easily. So let's see. I've got a couple mock drafts pulled up in front of me, okay? Chris Collinsworth has Carter going at number 3 to the Cardinals. PFF's official, I don't know, their analysts' special mock draft has Carter going to the Seattle Seahawks at 5. All right, we're going with Carter here. Chris Collinsworth isn't great. I agree. It's just what I have pulled up. All right, Carter's going at 5. Lions on the board at 6. All right, so I think this is another spot that the Titans could trade up to. So let's say trade Bijan, Wilson, Witherspoon. He hasn't been mentioned yet. I'm gonna take Bijan off and put AR down. All right, there are your options. I took Bijan off. I don't know if that was... maybe I should have taken trade off, but you guys can let me know. Cameron says Carter is negative 250 to go to Seattle. Second best implied odds outside of Bryce Young at 1. Taylor says Gonzo. Cameron says Witherspoon. J-Dub says Witherspoon. Cinnabon says Witherspoon. Talk says I doubt they trade this. Godfather Lions take Levis or Richardson. Talk says no Gonzalez, has to be Witherspoon. Cat says no shot they take a corner, in my opinion, as a Lions fan. Yeah, it could be a tight end here as well, Thomas. Talks, think they go Carter if he's there at 6, but otherwise cornerback. Let's see. 2 mocks in front of me. One has Tyree Wilson going to the Lions. One has Will Anderson falling to the Lions. Okay. Witherspoon's the call, boys and girls. The Detroit Lions will take Devon Witherspoon off the board. All right. Raiders are on the clock at 1.7. All right, 1.7. Where the Raiders go? Anthony Richardson. You still have Tyree Wilson available, right? Yeah. So let's put Wilson in there. Nolan Smith hasn't been mentioned either. Let's put him in there, and let's put Gonzalez. I think Gonzalez has a strong likelihood of going here. Godfather Raiders will F this pickup for sure. Pete, what's going on, man? He went at 1, 2, and 3. I guess I could keep that up right there, but yeah. Bryce Young, Will Anderson. The Texans trade up to the 3rd overall spot with the Cardinals. Cardinals move back to 12. Take C.J. Stroud at 3. Levis went at 4. Carter at 5. Witherspoon at 6. I'm not making any picks. It's the people's picks tonight. This is tough right here. 12 votes. 50% of you guys saying Gonzalez. 25 and 25 with AR and Wilson. Yeah, Tyree Wilson falling back pretty far here. All right, not much time left to vote. Poll is about to close. Gonzalez falls to 46%. It's been a full minute. Gonzalez is the pick. We have 2 corners off the board in a row. So the Lions and the Raiders go defense. That brings the Atlanta Falcons on the board here at 1.8. So Falcons at 1.8. It's got to be Wilson, right? But let's throw Bijan in the mix. Let's throw Anthony Richardson in the mix. And let's throw Peter in the mix. Because he's got to go at some point, right? Just put Wilson 4 times, says Tox. So let's see. I'm just trying to look at the 2 mocks I have in front of me. You've got Tyree Wilson at 6. And at 8. At 8 to the Falcons is PFF's official draft for the year. So, yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm going to need you guys to hop in on the poll because it's close right now. Tyree and Bijan were just tied. We've got 14 votes. Wilson moves ahead. So make sure you guys hop in on the poll. 43% at Tyree Wilson. Bijan Robinson at 36%. You guys make the call. All right, it's been a minute. Tyree Wilson off the board to the Atlanta Falcons. Wow, why is he's ranked a little bit lower than I thought. Off the board there. Good pick great value for the Texans there. All right, we haven't had a lot to go over like fantasy-wise so far. 'Cause all we have is Young, Stroud, and Levis off the board. But with that being said, the Chicago Bears are on the board at the 1.9. So, Bijan is in the conversation. Don't hate me. Let's put Peter in the mix. I'm just gonna put all three offensive linemen that I think should be here. PJ and Broderick Jones. All right, poll is up. 3 offensive linemen and Bijan. I think like Nolan Smith and even JSN you could argue here as well. So I'll take a glance at the chat here. Cameron says, I think Darnell goes to the Bears. That would be interesting. But probably a little bit later. Or Darnell Wright. Okay, so I didn't even put Darnell Wright in there. I mean, like, that's the thing. Any offensive tackle could really be in the conversation here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Cinnabon saying trade down. I have heard some buzz about the Bears trading out as well. All right. It's been a minute. All right, this is what I'm going to do. Audible. I'm doing an audible. PJ won the poll. So it's either PJ or a trade. One more poll for the Bears. We have too many Bears fans in the chat. I don't want to upset you guys. After the View says this is the spot someone moves for Richardson. So that could be a dilemma as well. I mean, here's the thing. Like, Tennessee's the prime team, I would argue. And the Eagles aren't going quarterback here, so they might just sit there. But who could jump ahead of them? Washington? The Lions? The Bucks? Seattle? New England? Green Bay? The Vikings being mentioned as well. Okay, I mean, a lot of you guys throwing out a couple different names right here. All right, it's been a minute. The Bears are going to trade the 9th overall selection. All right, who do the Bears trade with? Titans? Washington? I can't spell Washington. Commanders. I'm trying to look at a couple other names. Let's say the Seahawks were mentioned. And let's add the Bucks. Saw that mentioned more than once. All right, who's going to move up? And that's the thing. I mean, I guess the team that trades up to the 1.9 doesn't have to draft a quarterback necessarily. But we kind of just, I don't know, those are your teams. Those are the only teams you can choose from. They can draft any other player on the board. All right, poll is all over the place. We got Titans, Commanders, Bucks all tied. The Seahawks at 10%. Cinnabon says Steelers have been rumored a lot. Bossman Eagles trade up one spot. All right, poll is still tied. 3-way tie. Someone break the tie. It's been a minute. Oh, man, we don't have the Steelers on the poll. No, no one's broke the poll. We have 10 votes. I'm just gonna sit here until someone breaks the tie. Or I guess I can just be the deciding factor. Oh, someone voted Seahawks. All right, I'm going to give it 30 more seconds. Seahawks didn't help to vote a team that's not the Seahawks. All right, it's the Buccaneers. All right, this makes it fun. All right, so the Chicago Bears will trade with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs will give up the 19th and a second rounder in 2024 and a second rounder this year. The Bears give up the 9th overall pick. Okay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are officially on the clock. If you guys think that's crazy, trust me. There are a lot of channels that have ran these, and there's some way weirder scenarios out there than this one. So the Bucs are on the board now. They can go with Anthony Richardson. They can go with JSN. They can go with Nolan Smith. And I'm just going to put other and see if you guys have an argument for someone else. Godfather, have a good night, bro. Thank you for hanging out. I feel like this is going to be Richardson, and I feel like if the Bucs did give up draft capital here, which I just made up something on the fly, like they're probably going to go quarterback, right? All right, I'll give it 1 minute. 80% at Anthony Richardson here. 82% at Anthony Richardson. Do I think Mike Evans gets traded tomorrow night? No. But that would certainly be interesting. Yeah, I forgot about Van Ness. Cinnabon. We still have no receivers off the board either. Oh, getting interesting. Which I guess no one's really expected to go that early, but. John, as a Rashad White dynasty owner, I hope Tampa Bay goes quarterback. I kind of like this trade right here. And Richardson wins the poll, so the Bucs move up 10 spots. Give up 2 second rounders over the next 2 years to get Anthony Richardson at 9. All right, Eagles are on the board. The 1.10. We've got JSN. We've got Bijan. I mean, there's like a plethora of players that the Eagles could draft anybody. Nolan Smith. And I'll let you guys have another option, including trade. Why would the Eagles take JSN? I don't know. I just feel like he's one of the best players available. Is really the only person I'm only the reason I'm putting him on there. I could see offensive linemen here as well. So we'll include that in the other part of the poll. But yeah, here's kind of just scrolling through some of the top names available. So many tight ends. All right, 58% of you guys at other. Yeah, I could see a defensive back here, John. A lot of you guys saying offensive line. We've still got, Paris Johnson Jr. on the board. Broderick Jones. We got Pete. Well, according to PFF, the Eagles do need a receiver. All right, so you guys said other. So we'll start a new poll. Let's put Peter. Peter's such a cool name, man, if you really think about it. PJ. PJ's also a cool name. Broderick's also a cool name. I have the most generic name of all time, and John. All right, there are your options. I put the 3 top offensive linemen and other. Tough choice here for the Eagles. And other includes a trade as well. All right, PJ leading the board. Over says sports have Johnson. Sports books have Johnson as first tackle off the board. I think PJ is going to be our pick right here. PJ wins. It's been a minute. Let's take him off the board. That was a lot of work for the Eagles selection. And now I can't find PJ. Oh my gosh. I've scrolled over him, haven't I? Maybe not. Hold on. Okay, I swear he was not in front of me. All right, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock. This is a weird pick. Let's figure this one out. 1.11. Ooh, this is a really weird pick. You know what? I'm going to let you guys throw some names in the chat because I'm interested to see what you guys think. We got Darnell Wright. We got Pete. Going off what you guys say, so get your votes out there before I start the poll. All right, we got Broderick mentioned. Some more offensive linemen. And I've seen JSN more than once, so I'll put him in there. Those are your options. No debate. Just kidding. A couple of you guys saying Bijan as well. A couple of you guys saying trade. Right now the poll is... Okay. Okay, now it's moving a little bit. I was about to say it's completely even across the board. I'll give it another minute here. Talks, I like the fit with Wright better, but I think Broad is the better player. Yeah, that offensive line is pretty god-awful. Uh-oh, Peter might finally be going. He might finally be going. Got less than a minute to vote, guys. 45% for Pete, 36% for Broderick, 18% for JSN, 0% for Wright. And it's been a minute. Peter's off the board. I've been waiting all night. All right, so 2 offensive linemen in a row. And the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock at the 1.12. This is another weird pick. I've heard Bijan rumored here. I'm just going to keep putting JSN because he's JSN. But let's also put, I think Broderick Jones still needs to be in the conversation. And I think Wright needs to be in the conversation as well. I'm going to take JSN off, actually. Let's put Nolan Smith. But if you guys have other ones, I think it's going to be a tackle, personally. And you get some draft capital by trading with the Texans. And then, you just take the best available player to help your franchise down the road, right? I think a secondary player makes sense, too, here. A couple of you guys throwing that out in the chat, so I think that's fair. Cinnabon says Van Ness. And that's the thing, like, the Cardinals could literally go in any direction right here, you know? They're in, like, outside of quarterback, like, because I think they just want to stick with Kyler and have someone fill in for the meantime, but, like, they could use help at every position, essentially, right? Maybe tight end. I think they're pretty much good there if Ertz can come back and get some play time. I think they're pretty much set after investing last year in the draft as well. So other than that, I don't know. Stenson Bennett is a good pick, Cinnabon. I do think, John, that JSN makes some sense. All right, Nolan Smith wins the poll. I like it. Kyler asks for an offensive tackle. What do the Cardinals do? They draft Nolan Smith in the first round. But I think Nolan Smith is a really good player. I really, really like him right there. Okay. Green Bay Packers on the board, baby. Moving up a couple spots after trading away Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets. So, JSN. Some of you guys throwing Kincaid out there already. Let's throw Kincaid in the mix. Let's throw Wright in the mix. And I'll just put other. See what you guys come up with. I have a strong suspicion that JSN is going to win the poll right here. So. JSN is to solely piss off A-Rod. Yep. Thomas, probably a dumb question, but is Bijan the best available player at this point? I'm not good at this. I mean, you could certainly argue so, but the running back position just tends to fall back now. I mean, Breece Hall last season fell back super far in the draft. You know, I mean, it's just what happens, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Mayer is a fair call. A couple of you guys throwing Mayer in there as well. But we're at 10 votes. JSN atop at 60%, pretty heavily. You're good, Cinnabon, but don't miss that Bears pick. What did the Bears trade back to? 19? Okay, you got some time. You got some time. All right, JSN is off the board to the Green Bay Packers in spite of Aaron Rodgers. All right, on to the New England Patriots at pick 114. I'm going to let you guys throw out a couple names here. I mean, we still got Bijan, we got Kincaid. We got Cansey out of Pittsburgh, who he could go in the top 12 easily. Brian Branch, who can do all kinds of things and extremely versatile. Safety, Miles Murphy's out there. Deontay Banks still out there. You got Michael Mayer. You still got Broderick Jones. Joey Porter still available. Darnell Wright. Jordan Addison. Quentin Johnston. You got Harrison out of Oklahoma. Van Ness is still out there. So you got a lot of options right here. A lot of options. All right, so let's put Joey Porter Jr., Van Ness. Let's put Branch. And I'll put other/trade because I could always see the Patriots making a trade. I feel like, I don't know. If you guys don't want one of those players, put other. Because this is a tough pick. Emil says, I think the Patriots trade back like they always do. I could 110% see that. Too early for Flowers, I agree. John says Murphy, I could see that as well. All right, so Joey Porter Jr. is atop the poll right now at 38%, but it's close. It's close, just 8 votes in at the moment. Got 1 minute total. I mean, Pete makes a solid point here. They're drafting a guy no one has heard of. I mean, solid point. Yeah, I mean, literally, if we just like scrolled all the way down here and picked any, I don't know, most of these guys we know. So, but yeah, I mean, if we just went to like the 6th round and like went to the bottom, they're probably taking Caleb Chandler out of Louisville right here would be my personal guess. But to keep things fun, we'll go with another player. All right, so JPJ wins the poll. That was a close poll, though. So Joey Porter Jr. is off the board to the New England Patriots at pick 14. All right, the Jets move back to pick 15 as part of the Aaron Rodgers trade. They are on the board here. I think they'll pick a tackle, personally. But we'll give you guys some options. So I think Broderick Jones or Wright is who we get here. I mean, that's all I'm going to put. Then I'm going to put other, including a trade. Hit the poll, guys. We got Stevie in the house. What's up, Dynasty Life? How are we doing, my guy? Hello, hello. What's going on tonight, man? What's going on? Mr. Cass says Chandler's a stud. I'm sorry. I just picked someone the first name I saw. A-Rod makes them take Quentin Johnston by gunpoint. Jeez. Taylor, I like Wright, but his lateral movement makes me nervous. All right, 9 votes in. You got Broderick Jones or Wright. Jones is winning 56%. To Wright at 33%. Other is at 11%. And it's been a whole minute. Poll is donezo. And it's going to be Broderick Jones out of Georgia going to the New York Jets. A good pick. Makes sense. Give A-Rod some protection. And let's move along. We got the Washington Commanders. No more Dan Snyder in town. Who are they picking? The 1.16. I'm going to let you guys throw out a couple names. I think, oh, God, I would hate to see Bijan to... Oh, my God. Please don't let it be Bijan. I think they need to go secondary, so I think, like, Branch makes a lot of sense here, and I think that Banks makes a lot of sense. You know what? I am going to make an executive call. I'm no longer looking at the chat. So don't hate me. But we got Branch. We got Banks. And I could see Cansey going here. I mean, he's still falling back. And then we're going to put Bijan. Those are your options. Those are the only options for the Washington Commanders. I grew up a Washington fan. I'm allowed to make the call here. But I do think they need to go secondary personally. Kat says, no way Bijan falls this far in real life. So let's see here. Not that it matters, but I got 2 mocks in front of me. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Yeah, this one's got Bijan at 8. And then the other one in front of me has got Bijan at 25. Branch is atop the board, or atop the poll, I should say. I think Bijan could fall back, actually. But I hope it's not to Washington. All right, poll has been up for a minute, and it's Brian Branch out of Alabama to the Washington Commanders. I actually think that pick makes sense. I do. All right, Steelers are on the board. So let's see here. I'll let you guys throw out a couple names. Steelers at 1.17. I think Cansey makes a lot of sense. He just feels like a Pittsburgh Steelers player. To me, I think Myles Murphy makes some sense. But I do think that Pittsburgh could trade back here, or they could go Banks as well. They could go tackle as well. The Darnell Wright's on the board. So I'll put other, including a trade. But I think Banks makes the most sense for them here. With, with Joey Porter Jr. already being gone to the Pats. Here's a little overview of the draft. We got Bryce Young at 1.1, Will Anderson at 1.2. The Texans trade with the Cardinals back up to 1.3 and take C.J. Stroud. Will Levis goes to the Colts at 1.4. Jalen Carter goes to the Seahawks at 5. Devin Witherspoon to the Lions at 6. Gonzalez to the Raiders at 7. Tyree Wilson goes to the Falcons at 8. The Buccaneers trade up to take quarterback Anthony Richardson. Traded with the Bears. PJJ goes to the Eagles at 10. Peter goes to the Titans at 11. Sorry, guys. I'm like not even on camera. Nolan Smith goes to the Cardinals. JSN to the Packers. Joey Porter Jr. goes to the Pats. Broderick Jones to the Jets. Brian Branch to the Washington Commanders. All right, so, yep. Banks wins the poll. That one was easy. Deontay Banks out of Maryland goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you got the Detroit Lions on the board. This is going to be interesting right here. This is going to be interesting. 1.18. I mean, at this point, we got to start making a case for Bijan to go somewhere. I could see Mayer or Kincaid. I could see Cinnabon bringing up Van Ness. I could see Darnell Wright here as well. Dan Campbell building up the trenches. Don't forget they lost Hawkinson. So we'll see how this goes. Cansey does make sense. I forgot about Cansey. If enough of you guys say Cansey, we'll do a second poll. This is a tough pick, and I think the Lions here at 18, the Bears at 19, the Seattle Seahawks at 20 are all tough picks. All right, so we've got a tie so far on the poll. A tight end, Mayer, Kincaid. Oh, we got a three-way tie. I need you guys to hit the poll. Bijan, Mayer, or Kincaid, Van Ness. I am willing. We might run a second poll, but the poll is tied. Three-way tie. Cats, I don't see a world where they pass on Bijan here. They did just pay Monty, and they still got a young DeAndre Swift. But I absolutely understand what you're saying. All right. Oh, the poll ends. The poll ends. We have to run a second one. It's not going to be Bijan. So the Lions are going tight end at the 1.18. Is it Mayer? Is it Kincaid? Or is it another tight end? Taylor and Kat's not very happy. Yeah, Miles Murphy's still here. Cansey's still here. Darnell Wright's still here. There's some good names. But it's a tight end. It could be Darnell Washington. 83% of you guys saying Mayer. 0 saying Kincaid so far. 17% saying another tight end. I'll leave it up for a full minute. I think Cansey could make a lot of sense here as well. But I don't know, man. Cansey to the Bears could make a ton of sense as well. Like I think if you're the Bears and you do trade back to 19 and you land Cansey, like that is just beautiful. That's just beautiful. But I think if Darnell Wright's still there for the Bears as well, which he will be because we're going tight end here, that's nice too. Okie doke. Boom. The Detroit Lions will take tight end Michael Mayer off the board. And now the Chicago Bears are on the board. Okay, I mean, we got some Bears fans in the chat. So I'm going to let you guys kind of throw some names out there. But you got Bijan. You got Bijan here. You got Cansey still, who I think would be a great pick right there. You got Darnell Wright. And I'm going to put other / trade because like I don't think it'd be too crazy if the Bears just keep doing Bears things and they trade out here. All right, you guys got to hit the poll. It's going to be an intense one. I can already feel it. There's going to be some heated conversation in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I think O-line makes a lot of sense. I just think Cansey would just... I really like Cansey personally. So, man, imagine Seattle taking Cansey at 20 with already going Carter at 5. Just, I mean, it makes no sense, but... All right, so Wright is leading the poll right now. 78% of you guys saying Darnell Wright. J-Dubs, loyal Bears fan, says we need Wright. Cinnabon also Bears fan, Wright or Van Ness. Mr. Sarcastic says Wright needs to protect Fields. Cinnabon also saying, God, please no Bijan. Elver Darno is the only pick that makes sense. Cameron, Darno, who are they going to take at 9? I think we agreed on probably PJ, right? Or Broderick Jones. So, yeah, I agree with you guys. Wright's the best pick for the team here. So, he wins the poll. Bears get their guy here, as well as some draft capital with a trade. And now you got the Seattle Seahawks back on the board at 1.20. I think they're not going to go defensive tackle, though. They're not, because they already got Jalen Carter in this draft. This is a weird pick right here. They could trade. Yeah, Taylor's saying someone trading up for Bijan here. I mean, you got the Chargers, you got the Ravens, Vikings, with Cook out the door, even with Madison there. Cowboys, Bills, Bengals, those teams make sense. All right, so let's say trade. Let's say Seattle and Pete Carroll, who love running backs, take Bijan. Let's say Murphy, they just bolster up that defensive line. And let's say Jordan Addison. The poll is up. It's official. So if we go trade here, we'll run a second poll and we'll go from there. John says I could see Cowboys trading up for Bijan. A couple of you guys saying they go receiver right here. Hendon Hooker being mentioned. I do want us to keep Hendon Hooker in mind as well, because I do think there's a world where Hendon Hooker goes in the first round. A lot of discussion about that as well. Hendon Hooker would be really the only first-round potential quarterback left, Thomas. Yeah, I mean, you got Hooker, McKee, DTR, and Stetson Bennett. Max Duggan, my guy. That's about it. All right, the poll's been up for a minute. We are conducting a trade at the 1.20. So let's start a new poll. Hawks trade with who? Let's say the Cowboys. Let's say the Bills. Let's say the Bengals. And let's make it really interesting. And let's say the Eagles. No. A couple of you guys saying Vikings, so I'll put Vikings on there. If I could type. All right, ignore the typo. Vikings. The Vikings. See, I don't feel like the Chargers would be moving up one spot here, which does happen, don't get me wrong. Pete says we're not trading up for Bijan. Stevie, Vikings might actually trade back from 23. I could see that as well. Taylor, Bengals have too many needs elsewhere to go running back in the first. Their defensive backs are depleted. Yeah, I think you guys like the Cowboys here. Bills at 0%. And our new NFL team, the Vikings, at 29%. All right, poll's only going to be up for a minute. And the boys are trading with the Seattle Seahawks. So, Dallas Cowboys will give up pick 26. Third rounder in 2024 and a late round pick this year for Seattle's 20th overall pick. Seattle moves back to pick 26. The Cowboys are on the board. And who do the Cowboys go with here, ladies and gents? Bijan or Kincaid or Cansey. I mean, there are really good players here, so I'll put a legit poll out. I was just going to put Bijan, but we'll put a couple good players out here. But I think if they did trade up right here, it has to be for Bijan, right? All right, poll is up. I'll leave it up for a minute. Pollard shares crashed to 7th round. Well, I mean, you look at how productive Pollard was last season with Zeke still around and taking a lot of goal line touches and everything. I think he'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, Bijan's rookie season versus Zeke with his wear and tear very different. All right, Kincaid is sitting at 22%. Taylor says, please get him off the board. This is insulting to the man. All right, I've seen enough. The Dallas Cowboys trade up 6 spots to take running back Bijan Robinson out of Texas off the board. And now the Chargers are sad because they were eyeing him. So the Chargers are on the board here. 1.21. We've got Jordan Addison available. I feel like that's who it's going to be. We still got Cansey. They might go tight end here. You got Kincaid. Quinn Johnston. You got Van Ness. I'm going to put, I'll put other / trade. Miles Murphy, of course, still here. You got Anton Harrison here. Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, you got a couple options here. Josh Downs, my guy. We have to make Josh Downs a first-round pick. DJ Turner, Hendon Hooker. We got to put Sharby in the first round, guys. Come on. Ooh, we got a close one right here. Jordan Addison's at 50%. Kincaid's at 38%. Addison moves to 56. Kincaid moves to 33. Dynasty Life says Zay. Thomas, do the Hawks get another pick with that trade or just move back? Oh, they got a pick next year and a late round pick this year, as well as pick 26 in the first round. Not that it really matters for tonight's purpose, but I gave them some draft capital. Don't you worry, bro. All right, the poll is closing. It's Jordan Addison. I mean, do you guys think I should rerun it? I just put Addison. I didn't put Flowers. No, Zay Flowers is still available. Too late. We're going Jordan Addison here. Which brings up an interesting selection at the 1.22. The Baltimore Ravens. Do they go Cansey? Do they go with Flowers? Do they go Murphy? And I've seen Quentin Johnston in the chat, so let's put him down too. Kincaid could be an option, but I don't know. They've got some, I don't know. I mean, they got Andrews, obviously, but they got a little bit of depth too. I think Flowers or Quentin Johnston makes sense here. They could trade back. J-Dubs, who's at corner? We got Forbes, Cam Smith, Stevenson, DJ Turner. Safety, I don't think we're going to see another safety out of the first round. We got lots of wide receivers. Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Dell, Hyatt, Tillman, Rasheed Rice, Marvin Mims, Mingo. We got all kinds of names. Tackle, we got Harrison Jones. I don't see a lot of these guys go in the first round. In terms of interior offensive linemen, we got Torrance, Michael Schmitz. I don't know. Dynasty Life, trade with Buffalo for Zay. Ravens about to get D-Hop. Well, a lot of you guys saying trade back. All right, I'm going to run one more poll for the Ravens. Murphy won that poll. So if you guys still think Murphy, keep Murphy. If you think it's a wide receiver, vote wide receiver. If you think it's a trade, vote trade. And I'll let that simmer for a minute. This is your final call on the Ravens. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, by the way. This has been a lot of fun. Do me a favor and hit that like button if you guys haven't done so already. All right, hold on one second, guys. Yeah, this has been a ton of fun. I appreciate you guys being here tonight, man. All right. 6 votes in. Trade is winning. John, can you do a trade for D-Hop next year, second round pick for the Ravens for the memes? Tom Grossi and Brandon Perna a couple weeks ago did it's called the worst draft NFL 2023 NFL draft ever. It was hilarious. That's what we should have done. Is we should have done a draft like that. That was just ridiculous. All right, so you guys are voted. Is that a word? It is a word. Was that used correctly? You guys have decided. So the Ravens are trading. Ravens trade. Who are they going to trade with? A lot of you guys saying the Bills. Who else makes sense to move up here? KC. A couple of you guys saying Kansas City. And let's say the Eagles. And let's say other. I don't know why I put the Eagles. Because they had the last pick. I don't know. All right, I think Bills or the Chiefs were going to win anyways, but there's one or two other options for you guys. Oh, sorry, Taylor. I just saw that you said twice the Saints. I'm sorry. Saints can be the other. Poor Eagles. I don't know why I put the Eagles. All right, so we still got Dalton Kincaid on the board. We still got Cansey, Miles Murphy. These guys are going to go in the first, right? Quinn Johnston's still here. Zay Flowers still here. Jahmyr Gibbs. Darnell Washington. Laporta. Hendon Hooker. I mean, I really want us to put Hendon Hooker on a team, too. But I'll let you guys decide. All right, the Bills are winning the trade poll here at 50%. And that'll do it. The poll has ended. The Baltimore Ravens are trading pick 22 to the Buffalo Bills. All right, so the Bills will give up pick 27, 6th rounder next year, and 137 this year. And the Ravens swap here. All right, the Bills are on the clock here. Bills at the 1.22. So I feel like you guys are going to pick Flowers. But I will put Quinn Johnston in the conversation and Murphy. And then I will put other. Dude, we need to do more streams like this where I just run polls all night and let you guys... I don't know. This has just been fun. I feel like you guys are going to pick Flowers here. All right. You guys got 1 minute to decide. And then we only have 7 more selections. Shout out to the Dolphins. They were forfeited. I feel like you guys are going to pick Flowers. I feel like I should just take Flowers off the board. Executive decision. Flowers is going to the Bills. All right. So the Bills trade up. They get their guy. And we've got the Vikings on the board. So the Vikings at 1.23. Trade. I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys throw out a couple of names. See Jahmyr Gibbs in the poll. A couple cornerbacks being mentioned. A lot of players being mentioned here. So let's do this. Let's break it down to position. All right, trade cornerback, receiver, edge rusher, or defensive tackle. Best I could come up with. But yeah, I mean, you got some big. I mean, you still got Cansey. I just really like Cansey, so I don't know. Maybe that's just me. You got Miles Murphy. You got Forbes. You got Van Ness. Gibbs. Cam Smith. DJ Turner. Hendon Hooker. All right, I'll let this sit for a minute. Right now, corner is winning the trade. After the review says it's Hooker or Quentin Johnston. Oh, corner is taking the poll strongly here. Strongly, and it ends on corner. Vikings are taking a corner right here. All right, so Vikings 1.23. We've got Forbes, Smith, Turner, Stevenson. Yeah, Pete, as a loyal Vikings fan, you say Hooker or Quentin Johnston? Forbes is atop the poll right here. Let's see where they go. And it's looking like Forbes is going to be the pick. 57%. Pete says trade back. Also a high shot. They really want Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. Corner is a little bit suspect right here. But we're a democracy. Can't talk tonight. All right, Forbes wins the poll. People have spoken. So we've got quite a few corners in the first round. All right, Jacksonville Jags on the board. This is an interesting pick. Who do the Jags pick? They could trade back. They could go Kincaid. They could go... I mean, Murphy's here. Cansey's here. So, trade or other. And I think those are your top three guys. Pete, didn't the Vikings pick a corner in the first round last year? I just spilled water in my face. Cats, Lions trading Swift in the draft pick to move up to get Hooker somewhere around here. That would be interesting. Ooh, the polls got a 3-way tie. Oh, safety and corner early. That's right. One of them got hurt, right? Poll is a 3-way tie. Someone's got to break it. Oh, both did. Jeez, that's right. They did. One of them got hurt against the Bills in that game. Maybe. No, I think I'm wrong. All right, the poll is tied. Someone's got to break it. Or else I'm going to have to make a decision. Yeah, Taylor, no interior offensive lineman gone. None. Could see one going at the end of the draft here. Oh, a couple of you guys hitting the poll. And now we have a 2-way tie between Kincaid and Cansey. I'm going to count to 10 in my head. If it's not different, I have to make a selection. Can also change your pick last second. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm going Cansey right here. You guys know I've been dying to select him. Good pick for the Jags, though. I mean, seriously. The Jags are in a position. I do think offensive line makes sense there. I do think any skill position doesn't hurt. I do think any defensive player in general makes sense, but PFF has Cansey as their 14th overall player in the draft. They would not pass on him right there at all. Okay, I'm gonna start speeding it up a little bit here and there. So we're gonna take Quinn Johnston off the board to the Giants. And I don't think you guys are going to be mad about that, but a couple of you guys are already shouting out QJ to the Giants. I think it just makes sense. You know what? That's how we'll roll the rest of the night. The polls are closed, ladies and gents. Maybe we'll do one more poll. But from now on, you're at the mercy of the chat. You got to get your answers out in the chat. So the Giants go Quentin Johnston at 25. That leaves the Seattle Seahawks on the board at pick 26. According to the mock draft simulator, they could use a guard or an interior lineman. There's been none selected so far. And they could use a defensive lineman, but they've already got Jalen Carter in this draft. So you've got Hendon Hooker available. You've still got Dalton Kincaid available. Miles Murphy is sitting here. You got Van Ness sitting here. J-Dub says Miles Murphy. After the review says Miles Murphy. Thomas says Hendon Hooker. Taylor says Torrance. Sarcastic says Hooker. No, Cats. They got Jalen Carter in the early pick. So far, the most votes are for Murphy. We've got 3 votes for Hooker. They need an interior lineman for my Walker shares. All right, Hooker. Okay, you know what? There's only one way to do this. We're back to the polls. That was stupid. I like the Quentin Johnston decision, but some of these we might need a poll. So, Murphy, Hooker, and just for Cats, interior lineman. Those are your options. No other, no trade. You got to pick one. Yeah, it didn't last long. You're right. I really just want to see the battle between Murphy and Hendon Hooker right here to see what happens. All right, so we still got Jahmyr Gibbs on the board. We've still got Van Ness, Dalton Kincaid, Miles Murphy, Hendon Hooker, my boy Josh Downs, Darnell Washington, Cam Smith, Sam Laporta, DJ Turner. We still got Sharby on the board. We gotta get Sharby drafted. I'm just joking. He doesn't have to get drafted, but you got Harrison. McDonald, Torrance. Torrance will probably be drafted, right? You've got a lot of options. Right now, the poll is leaning on Hooker. Hyatt getting a lot of first-round buzz. I agree. Especially to a team like the Chiefs. And Hendon Hooker is getting the call from the Seattle Seahawks. He's been drafted in the first round. He's going to sit behind Geno Smith. And that's your guys' pick. Nolan Smith is off the board. Nolan Smith went to the Cardinals at 12. All right, the Ravens are back on the board. So the Ravens, Murphy, trade, Van Ness. What pick would piss off Lamar the most? Darnell Washington. How about Harrison get some love? How about Torrance get some love? They could use offensive line help. I mean, I think those three players actually make sense. I think between Torrance and Murphy, that makes the most sense. Eagles trade up, asked Stevie. Could. Trade is in the poll. Right now, Murphy's winning the trade. Torrance at 33%, Van Ness at 17%, Murphy at 50%. You're close, Cats. You're close. You're close. Gibbs before Saints and Bengals. I actually wouldn't be like completely shocked if the Ravens took a running back. All right, the poll ends. Murphy wins. Finally, Miles Murphy's off the board. A steal for the Ravens. All right, the Bengals are on the board here. I'm gonna put this one up to you guys. I am. I was gonna make a decision, but we're gonna say Jahmyr Gibbs. We're going to say Kincaid. We're going to put Torrance. And then we're going to put other or trade. Just to give you guys an option. Harrison, I don't think is a bad call either, Taylor. I don't think that's a bad call either. I just want Torrance to go in the first round. I mean, we only had the Saints, Eagles, and Chiefs after this pick. So that's 3 more selections. We've got Kincaid, Harrison, Van Ness, Torrance, Gibbs, Darnell Washington, Josh Downs, Laporta, DJ Turner, Sharby, Hyatt. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty realistic, right? I think some pool of those guys. I think that's pretty realistic. Got Felix pretty dang good. Jack Campbell's all right. All right, Gibbs is killing the poll. He wins. So the Bengals go running back here. They take Jahmyr Gibbs. He's the second running back off the board on the night. The Saints are on the board here at pick 29. Where in the world do they go? Saints, guard, center, defensive lineman, corner. I'm telling you guys, Torrance is a good pick here. I have no idea what the Saints do. Me either. Saints, let's say trade. Torrance. Van Ness. Kincaid. What do you guys think? The poll is up. It's going to be an interesting last two picks with the Eagles and Chiefs here. Because I could see the Chiefs taking a receiver. I don't know. Torrance winning the poll so far at 67%. I like that pick. Mozzie Smith still available. Jack Campbell. Drew Sanders. I mean, you got some names out there. You got Cody Malch. Kind of a famous meme. Yeah. All right, Torrance wins the poll. That feels like such a Saints pick at pick 32. Or pick 29, excuse me. All right. Eagles are on the poll. On the board. And on the poll, I guess. Eagles. We've got Van Ness. We got Harrison. I'm going to say other. Oh, it accidentally added an option. So I don't personally see Kincaid really going right there. Cam Smith. Let's add a corner. I don't know. That's a weird pick. I could see Van Ness going there. I mean, they like picking edge rushers. See a tackle going here. I'd love to see Josh Downs go to the Eagles, but I don't think he's going to get a first-round pick. I'd love to see Sharby go right here, Thomas, but I don't think he's going to get a first-round pick. I think he's going to be in the second round. But if enough of you guys say other, we'll start a poll for Sharby. Taylor's saying Keon White also got invited to the draft, by the way, so it's likely he could go somewhere. Cat says Sharp in the third round. J-Dub says Sharp in third round. Yeah, I mean, that probably makes sense. I just really like Sharpie. But I think realistically, you guys are probably right. So the poll is a split. So I'm going to call it Van Ness goes to the Eagles. They pick an edge rusher. That leaves a very interesting selection for the Kansas City Chiefs. We've heard a couple different wide receivers linked to them. So we'll put Hyatt on the board. Ooh, it could be a lot of different. I mean, when we look at wide receivers right here, you know what? Put Downs. Some of you guys saying Kincaid. Let's put Kincaid. And then, you know what? Just because it got called out in the chat, let's go with Keon White. No trades. Those are your options. For our final pick of our 2023 NFL mock draft. It's been fun tonight, guys. Yeah, I guess I could have put McDonald in there. I at least put White in there for you. Oh, man. So far, no votes for a receiver. All right. I'll let that simmer for a minute as we kind of wrap up for the night. So, a lot of fun with you guys tonight. I appreciate you guys doing this with me. I've never ran one of these. Well, you know what? Steven and I ran one of these before. So I guess we have. But I've never done one alone. So this was fun. And I think we actually put together a pretty intriguing draft. Oh, we've got a split. We got Kincaid and White at 40%. Cats is probably going to look horrible after tomorrow. I mean, I think the fun thing is, like, at the end of the day, I think tomorrow's draft's going to be all over the place. I really do. So I think this is kind of fitting. All right, if the poll doesn't get decided, I'm going to count to 10 in my head. Someone's got to vote for Kincaid or White. Oh, gosh, now the poll's a three-way split. Hyatt, Kincaid, White at 33%. You know what? Oh, someone came in and voted for Kincaid last minute. Dalton Kincaid going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, gosh, we get a draft grade. I was going to put Hyatt. I'm not going to lie. I was going to put Hyatt. But that works with me. Nice. I'm going to save that image. I will post this on Instagram or something. All right, you guys decided it. So we got Bryce Young to the Panthers, Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud acquired by trade with the Arizona Cardinals to the Texans. Will Levis to the Colts. Carter goes to the Hawks. Devin Witherspoon to the Lions. Gonzalez to the Raiders. Tyree Wilson to the Falcons. Anthony Richardson and a blockbuster trade is acquired by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 9. PJJ goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. We got Peter off the board at pick 11 to the Titans. Nolan Smith goes to the Cardinals. JSN to the Packers. Joey Porter Jr. to the Patriots. Broderick Jones to the Jets. Brian Branch to the Commanders. Deontay Banks goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Michael Mayer goes to the Lions. Darnell Wright to the Bears. Bijan goes to the Dallas Cowboys via trade with the Seattle Seahawks. Jordan Addison to the Chargers. Zay Flowers to the Bills. They traded with Baltimore. Emmanuel Forbes to the Vikings. Cansey falls all the way back to 24 to the Jaguars. That's my favorite pick of the night. Quentin Johnson goes to the Giants. Hendon Hooker goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Miles Murphy goes to the Ravens. That was another great value. Jahmyr Gibbs goes to the Bengals. Cyrus Torrance goes to the Saints. Van Ness goes to the Eagles. And Dalton Kincaid will be tutored by Travis Kelce. Whoever hit Kincaid, as soon as I was clicking the closed poll, you decided that pick truthfully because, sorry, I just punched my desk. I was going to put Hyatt, but I like that. So we end up with 2 tight ends in the first round. So there's your first round mock, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor, I no longer have an active Twitter for the page, so I can't post on Twitter, but I'll put on Instagram. Cats, this is the worst case scenario for the Lions, in my opinion. It feels like 2 Dan Campbell picks to me. Private underdog draft this weekend. We should definitely get that together, J-Dubs. A lot more information coming out. The prize pools for Best Ball Mania have come out for the year. So I have that posted on Instagram for you guys, too, on my stories. So, okay, guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this tonight. That was a way longer stream than I expected, but that was a ton of fun. I appreciate you guys throwing that together with me, having some fun, talking a little bit of fantasy, but really just talking about the NFL draft tomorrow. And yeah, that was a good time, man. It really was. We'll have to try and do something like that again soon. So, all right, guys, everyone have a good night. You guys know who you are. If you stopped by, if you listened in, if you're in the chat tonight, thank you guys so much for being here and spending part of your night here on the channel. I do have to get off. I got to work in the morning, so I'm going to go ahead and close things out. So do me a favor, hit that like button on the way out, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Check out the links down below. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Discord. Y'all know what to do, man. So appreciate you guys, man. This is a ton of fun. Tomorrow night I'll be on after the draft or sometime late in the first round. So just stay posted tomorrow, and we'll probably run a startup mock and just kind of go over the draft and kind of reactions and things like that. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch.